Legend Carey just make a save for Canada's hunters and gun owners. Looks like it. Hi, I'm Brian Lilly, political columnist for the Toronto Sun. Over the past several weeks, the Trudeau Liberals in Ottawa have been doing something that they claim they're not. That is adding guns, hunting rifles and shotguns to the list of banned firearms in Canada. They've been claiming that they're not doing this while they clearly are, and we know they are because there's a list that they published as part of an amendment to Bill C-21. Now, C-21 was sold as a way to get handguns and so-called military-style assault weapons off of Canada's streets. That is something that, whether gun owners like it or not, has broad-based support among the general Canadian public. But the Trudeau government kept saying they weren't going after hunters or farmers with their hunting rifles, their shotguns, the tools they need for what they do. And then they started doing it. They added to the list time and time again. They made amendments that would add hundreds of different hunting rifles and shotguns to the list. But every time this was raised, the Trudeau Liberals said, that's not true. That's disinformation. Trudeau himself did this. And then something subtle happened. Carey, the NHL great, the Habs legend, Canada's goalie on the international stage, did a simple post to Instagram. Take a look at it. Price said, I love my family and my country, and I care for my neighbor. I am not a criminal or a threat to society. What Justin Trudeau is trying to do is unjust. Well, with that, Price ended up on the front page of Le Journal de Montréal, the biggest red paper in Quebec. He ended up on all over French media across Quebec. He ended up getting into English media with this story as well. It started to make changes, including the Bloc Québécois, sounding like they may waver on their support for Trudeau's bill after hearing from the many Quebecers who love their deer rifles and their duck shotguns. So the Prime Minister asked about it at an announcement Monday. Listen to the change in tone from calling such claims disinformation just a few days ago.
Now, we've just put forward a list, and we're consulting with Canadians on that. We're hearing a lot of feedback around concerns that hunters are saying about guns that they use more for hunting or hunting rifles or shotguns. And that's what we're listening to feedback on now to make sure that we're not capturing weapons that are primarily hunting weapons.
There is a gun crime problem in Canada, but it doesn't have to do with duck hunters. It doesn't have to do with farmers. It doesn't even have to do with the sport shooters that Trudeau is continually going after. It has to do with smuggled handguns from the United States and sometimes smuggled rifles, as we learned from the Toronto police, who announced a major bust of 62 different firearms, including banned rifles, into this country. But what did they say about these guns? Where did they come from?
Of the 62 firearms seized, 58 were traced, 4 were untraceable, 4 of the AR-15 types were untraceable, no serial numbers, no make and model. Of the remaining 58 that were traced, 57 were traced to the United States, to U.S., primarily Arizona and Texas, and only one of these firearms was traced to Ontario. It was a stolen firearm from a break-and-enter back in 2021.
And that is where Justin Trudeau should be putting the emphasis, helping local police, helping border police deal with this very real issue of smuggled guns into our country. Instead, he keeps adding to a list that is growing by the day that he will have to buy back rifles and shotguns that have not been used in crime at all. It will cost billions of dollars compared to the pittance that he's putting into fighting smuggling. He's got his priorities reversed. He's starting to look like he'll change his mind on the hunting rifle issue. Maybe he'll change his mind